All right, now it's time for the Mike Kings.
Hey, everybody, happy Sunday!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Church with a 2-Drink Minimum.
Everybody, we're going to sing. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the church with a 2-drink minimum. Welcome to the church with a 2-drink minimum. We are Interfaith, Interspiritual, not optional. So relax and get ready for a celebration. Welcome to the church with a 2-drink minimum. One more time now. Welcome to the church with a 2-drink minimum.
Hey, human!
Wee doggy!
Got our wee doggies in there.
Hey, everybody! Wow, it's so good to be with you today on this lovely Sunday afternoon.
It is.
And we want to say hi to everybody listening on the radio. We've found out that there's a lot of people that are listening on the radio. We're happy about that.
I've started to get emails.
No, yeah, we actually have gotten emails.
And we've been found on the YouTubes and the website and stuff. So thank you to everybody who comments and comes by and says hello.
And thank you, Sina, for posting, our contact information and everything. It's just a great experience here on Sundays at Awakening Together. We really enjoyed the homily this morning.
I know. We've been talking about it all day.
We have been talking about it all day because really, and some of the comments, Sina, that you made have been very and particularly inspiring to me. And so I wanted to bring together a lot of different aspects of this beautiful day because, as we know, it is Palm Sunday in the Christian tradition. And although we were raised in the Christian tradition, your dad was a preacher.
I was raised in the Southern Baptist Church. My mother says says I cut my teeth on the back pew. That's
I know. And I literally married the son of a preacher man. So. Anyway, so we wanted to bring that, into our understanding. We don't consider ourselves Christian now. We are interfaith, which means we
believe that truth
is true.
What's true is true,
no matter where it comes from.
Sure.
So, but we were thinking about also
the meaning of Palm Sunday.
The meaning of Palm Sunday and how it relates to what we were talking about in the homily, which was beyond this world there is a world I want. Now, as you know, I've written a song about that, and that particular lesson goes hand in hand with the other lesson right before it, which is the world I see holds nothing that I want, and beyond this world there is a world I want. Now, think about this for a minute. We were talking about Palm Sunday and how Jesus came into, Jerusalem, and people were...
it's Palm Sunday. They call it Palm Sunday because they put the palms that they were carrying for a military parade down in front of Jesus as a welcome into it.
Right. So think about this. So the people were at that time. I always think it's important to know the time in the history and the world in which these things were written.
Yeah, the Passover wasn't celebrated like it's celebrated today.
Right. So beginning of Passover, but also coming into the city with at the height of Jesus' popularity, with people that expected him to give them something other than what he did.
Hosanna, praise this man.
Yes. So they wanted Jesus to be like a king, to liberate them from this physical realm, And instead, what Jesus offered was beyond
another
this
way to
world.
look at the world.
Yeah.
Instead of being an earthly king, they wanted him to be an earthly king.
Right.
In fact, they called him, they mocked him when they assassinated him with the king of the Jews. They put the king of the Jews up there. They were mocking him for not fulfilling what the people wanted from him, to be a king, to be, the king had a savior, right?
So, as we look at the world I see holds nothing that I want, and beyond this world there is a world I want, we're seeing like a shift in consciousness. What we may think we want, we may go through so much of our lives thinking that what we want is a physical thing.
That what we crave or what was going to satisfy us is going to be something in the physical,
realm.
and it's never
And
is.
it's not.
That's the fifth law of chaos.
Yeah.
There is a substitute for love.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for love.
Right.
It looks like it would be easier to just live without love.
Right.
Right? Lots of songs about that.
Right.
I'm all out of love. Lots of things of love has left me, all kinds of stuff like that. We think that it would be so much better to live in a world with less love in it. But that's the only thing that's going to satisfy us is to live in the world that we want to live in.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
what world do you want to live in?
I want to live in a world that really reflects the love that I know that I am.
Yes, I do too.
So, with that in mind... Oh, awesome. Wait a second. No, with that in mind, I'm going to do a sing-along. And I am with you, Sinus. Thank you. Yes, exactly. And I want to welcome Connie. Hey, Connie.
Hey,
Yay! So, creating... I almost knocked my drink over. We're back with the sorrel tea today, so cheers, everyone.
I know.
Yay!
Yeah. And all of you would have went black because it would have been right on top of the computer. So you just was like, bye, thanks. Thanks for attending. Happy Palm Sunday.
So, in celebration of creating a world
I want
to see, which is a world that expresses the love that we are.
The truth.
The truth.
See ourselves in all beings.
We're going to sing the call and response sing-along. I love myself. So,
Get a hug on
sing it with
yourself.
us.
Call and response. Got a nice beat. You dance to it.
Dance to it. 1, 2, 3. I love myself.
I love myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
My life feels good.
My life feels good.
And I can have what I want.
I can have what I want.
And I choose joy.
And I choose joy.
And I choose peace.
And I choose peace.
Oh yeah, I love myself.
I love myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
My life feels good.
My life feels good.
And I can have what I want.
I can have what I want.
And I choose joy.
And I choose joy.
And I choose peace.
And I choose peace.
Break it down now.
Opportunity finds me. I create what I need. I'm open to suggestions. I accept success.
I take
And I take responsibility. Abundance flows through me. And I prosper. And you prosper. And we prosper.
and a
Back
1,
to
2,
the top.
because I love myself.
I love myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
My life feels good.
My life feels
And I
good.
can have what I want.
I can have what I want.
And I choose joy.
And I choose joy.
And I choose peace.
And I choose peace.
For all beings.
For all beings.
For all life.
Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. May all beings be happy.
Yeah. May all beings
be happy. I know.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yep. And speaking of all beings,
I think we have like 10 versions of that song in our on our playlist. Do you have a? Do you listen to mantras? Do you find out the same mantras going on, like your spontaneous?
I know.
We've seen a lot of mantras.
We do. I want to share a little bit more about what I've been doing today because some of y'all may be interested in this. I work with an organization here in New York City called Drag Queen Story Hour. It's DQSHNYC.org.
Yeah, you might have a drag queen story hour in your city.
You might, yeah, because we're spreading out all over the country actually right now. So what I had the wonderful opportunity to do today was celebrate the very first birthday of a young lady in our Brooklyn here, and we did it, remote via Zoom. But I wanted to bring that up because this is one way that I get to share creating the world that I want to live in, right? Mm-hmm. So Drag Queen Story Hour is an organization that works with the public libraries and schools and with families who invite us to come to their parties and things. And it's a celebration of diversity and
museums
and
too.
Love.
You've done a couple of museums.
I have done children's museums and things like that, but it's a celebration of diversity and love and self-expression. And it's a lovely, lovely way to help young people and families, see more self-expression than what maybe they're normally used to seeing. So I just wanted to mention that. And if you're curious at all about Drag Queen Story Hour, send me an email, Yolanda@yolanda.net. And this is how we're sharing the love today, because A Course in Miracles lesson goes in with all of this today.
What are the odds?
I know. And it's a review, so it's really, really cool. So it's lesson 87. And the first part is, I will there be light. I will there be light.
Right. So what's your intent? Yeah, what's your intent?
Yeah, exactly.
What's your intent? I will there be light. I will to know. I will. We're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Look at what it says at the first line. I will use the power of my will today. It is not my will to grope around in darkness, fearful of shadows, and afraid of things unseen and unreal.
I know.
Light shall be my guide today.
I know. She offers either you'll be either you're in the light or you're groping in the shadows.
Don't you love how she says things?
Groping
about in the darkness.
Groping about in the darkness.
Fearful of shadows.
Oh, I know. I know. We all know.
Light shall be my guide today.
Light shall be my guide. We know plenty of people that are gropey.
Yeah, but today, light shall be my guide. Yeah. And these forms of this idea would be helpful for specific applications. This, whatever situation is, cannot hide the light I will to see. And then, you stand with me in light. Name. So, if you're having trouble with somebody today, mention their name and your prayer.
You stand with me in the light.
You stand with me in
the light. Name.
Yeah. And then, in the light, this will look
in the light. Yeah, this will look different.
No matter what it is. And so then the second idea for review is there is no will but God's. And again,
people get really confused about this.
Well, there is no will but God's.
Right, because the only thing that can happen is God's will.
Right.
Because God's will doesn't allow anything to happen that isn't God's will.
Exactly.
Which is a little bit frightening because we think we need to understand what that is, and we don't. We need to participate in it. Like it says in the Course, your understanding. It's not a powerful contribution to the truth.
You're right.
So the truth is true regardless of whether we understand it. Whether we understand the will of God, what we can do is participate in it by aligning our will with what is.
Right. That's
important. What work. I like to call God what works.
I love that. God is what works, which is the truth. Truth is true.
There is no will but God's.
Right, and I love that. Let me perceive this in accordance with the will of God, whatever it is. It is God's will that you are his son name
Person I'm having
whoever
trouble with.
person I'm having trouble with,
And mine
as well. This is part of God's will for me. However, I may see it.
This is a part of God's will for me. Is it in front of us? Are we experiencing it? Is this, is this what is happening?
Right.
This is part of God's will for me.
But I like the last part of that too is however I may see it. You know what I mean? Like, because, sometimes we don't see.
Well, even getting
God's
it wrong and being upset shows the direction of our good.
Yeah. Oh,
Away from that. When you're upset, you can go in deeper. You can look and say, what is the foundational belief that is making me upset? How am I upsetting myself? Because the person or the world is not upsetting us. We're doing the upset. We're creating the chemicals we're experiencing. We're judging a reaction a certain way, or judging an occurrence in a certain way. We can't see the truth. And we're upset because we believe it should be different.
Right.
It's not. It doesn't have to be different. What has to be different is our perspective. I am willing to learn the truth. Yeah. Even if it upsets me.
Wow.
Because I would rather live with the truth than, I don't think I'm, it's just really, because the truth does look kind of scary. We're going to talk about that a little bit today, about the identity. What is our identity? How do we identify ourselves? And how that can be a frightening or a joyous process.
Cool. I'll take joyous. All right. Well, let's move into our circle of love that I like to do, our circle of love meditation. And today, in our circle of love, let's really be conscious of bringing in, everything that's going on, whether we like it or don't like it, which I always say. But however, remembering that beyond this world that I see in the physical, beyond this is the world that I want, So let's be conscious in knowing that today. And I'll ring 3 times, breathe with me, and on the third, let it out with an Om. So here we go. Right here, right now, in this room, on the radio, wherever you may be hearing my voice, you and I, are co-creating a circle of love. And we all are doing this together because we are made of this love. That is what we are made of. Unconditional love. And we celebrate that today. So whatever we are going through, and there are some really deep and heavy things that people are going through right now. So whatever it is that we are going through as an individual, as a family, as a relationship, as a city, as a state, as a country, as a world together, we know and we affirm that it is all working for the highest good of all beings. Loka somosta sukino bhavantu. May all beings be happy. In this circle of love, we bring everything that we like and everything that we do not like, knowing that transformation is possible, knowing that we learn from what we do not like as well as what we like. So in this circle of love today, we declare that we are seated on land that once belonged to our Native American ancestors. In our part of the world, me and Glen's world, that is the Lenape tribe and the Abenaki tribe when we're in Vermont. In this circle of love, we declare and we know that Black lives matter and Black trans lives matter. And in this circle of love, we know and affirm that human consciousness is shifting and we are growing as a species. In this circle of love, we know that beyond this world, there is a world I want. And we are creating that world with our love. Blessed be. And so it is.
Ekon ka satanam karta pukanire bone ber akal more rajuni sebam guru prasad jak ad such to God such heavy such nanaka hose be such Ekon ka satanam karta pukanire bone ber akal more rajuni sebam guru prasad jak ad such to God such heavy such nanaka hose be such The world I see holds nothing that I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. Oh, there is a world I want. Oh, there is a world I want. Valueless. I escape the chains I've placed upon my mind and open the door to my true self and open the door to my true self. Letting go. Today I practice letting go. I allow myself to move beyond. I allow myself to move God such, hey be such, Nanaka Hose be such.
Okay, so this is an amazing mantra. It's called the Mul Mantra.
M-U-L.
Yeah, M-U-L. And it has a lot of words to it, and there's a lot of translation. I'm not going to read it all, but it's like this. God is one. Truth is God's name. Therefore, in my core, I am true. The vibration of God's name is what created all beings. That vibration is within me. God works through me and everyone in my life. God is fearless. I am fearless. God has no revenge. I stay present. I don't hold on to the past. God is the purity in the undying form. God is unborn, does not relate to birth and death, beyond the cycles of life. And I am self-illumined. God is self-illumined. Within me, I have the power to find light, to find love, and to find joy.
Yeah.
Yes!
And, yeah.
True here, true now, true throughout the ages is what it goes on to say. There's a lot.
That's
it's
the
a
very
long
end. It goes,
translation.
true now.
Yeah.
Yeah, be such. Nanaka Hose be
Be
such.
such.
This is true.
True.
This is true then. It was true now. And it will always be true.
throughout the ages.
It's like,
yeah.
I
know.
You know, she just back on cars.
It's triumphant. Well, actually, I made it very dramatic, but mostly when you hear it,
It's very pretty.
It's very pretty and soft. But I felt that to be so powerful,
Yeah,
and
we love that one.
transformative. So happy to share that to you today.
Speaking of transformative,
I know. What have you got to share with us?
well, we're up to. Did you know you can read the Course in Miracles in every year if you read 12.8 pages a week? Did you know that?
Yes, I think many of us in this room know that.
Well, if you did the math, if you do the math, you'll find yourself somewhere around the middle of chapter 8.
Oh, cool.
Okay, it's called The Journey Back.
Oh,
And we're getting on the journey. We've met the teacher. And now she's asking. Now we're getting on the journey. We're taking the step toward. It's an inner journey, right? This is called, in one aspect, this is called the hero's journey, right. So, and she calls this section the undivided will of the sonship,
Right.
Okay. So so there's two images I'd like to offer you. The first is your favorite path through the woods. Do you ever go hiking? Do you have like a favorite little path through a park
trail,
or like a little trail or something like that? Think about that trail, about the metaphor, and that being like a metaphor for your journey home, like the journey back to your truest, your original expression, or the return to default settings, right? The journey back to that. The other image is
Reaching out.
yeah, I was reaching out. I was like a hand, like a good, like you're helping somebody,
Helping pull somebody up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I told the metaphor in class that when I was in elementary school, and me and a bunch of kids would sit on top of the monkey bars, and you had to get help to get on top of the monkey bars.
You couldn't get up there to sit with you unless
somebody
one
helps
of you
up.
helped them
Yeah,
up.
that's true. So think about that as like the help is there to help us when we can't help we can't help ourselves.
Truly.
It's a part of the community. This idea of a unified sonship where each of us working together. So why don't you read the little part I've highlighted there for you?
Here we go. Okay. Can you be separated from your identification and be at peace?
I know.
That is very interesting. The delusional believe that truth will assail them. And they do not recognize truth because they prefer the delusion. Okay. Judging truth as something they do not want. Help them! Alone we can do nothing, but together our minds fuse into something whose power is far beyond the power of its separate parts.
So think about having a fused mind. She's basically getting at here is the conditions of peace. Our identity as the first building block of our this atmosphere, this condition of peace, our identity as wholeness, as oneness, as our identity as life that is living, our identity as the truth. Well, a lot of times our identity frightens us, especially if we don't see it in the world. We don't see it, or we have trouble seeing our identity in the world. It causes disassociation, and it causes us to in some ways, live in a delusional world in which we are performing instead of living. Right? We don't like our identity. We don't know what our identity is, so we learn a performance instead of authentic expression.
Right.
And the condition of peace is the first condition of peace she talks about here is accepting your identity as the wholeness. And she calls your identity in this sense of wholeness a fused mind.
Fused with each other, right?
Yes.
We're fused with each other.
Right.
Like there's with the one.
It means it can't be taken apart.
Right.
It's brought together and cannot be taken apart. And she calls this power. Beyond its separate part, we're greater. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That is with the concept that she's talking about here. When we're in our right mind, and we offer direct experience. What we do is we want to offer the world a direct experience of what it is like to be in our authentic presence. The presence of love, which is your natural inheritance. So the condition of peace here is to offer the world a direct experience with God, meaning your presence, your authentic presence. And if we do that, she says, we join the mind of God. And this mind is invincible because it's undivided.
Invincible.
Do you want to be invincible? Does invincible sound like a good a good attribute?
I like
that. We
that.
want to be invincible, right? Isn't that the goal of doing something well? Is to be like unassailable, right?
Awesome.
So read the next part.
Yeah, but I'll switch back into the room.
Okay.
I want to see how everybody is. Hi! We go back and forth between screens. And if anybody had a comment or anything, pop in here, because
I know.
This is interesting. Okay, the undivided will of the sonship is the perfect creator. You cannot be exempt from it. To heal is still to make whole. To heal is to unite with those who are like you. I know. To heal is to unite with those that are like you. The recognition of God is the recognition of yourself. Yes.
So, do you want to be the perfect creator? You'll fuse your mind with God's. You'll join that undivided will that she talks about here. The will of God that cannot be assailed. What work? Your will be what works. And she says when we do this, we become like gods.
Right.
We become, as she calls this, we become identical to God. There's no separation between God and us. When we choose to live in this undivided will, to live as the intent. And another way the Course puts this is to live in our perfect happiness.
Right.
To live into our certain destiny.
Right.
And she said, we're not exempt. You can't apply for this. There aren't any dues you have to apply. You don't get accepted for this. This is the way it is. We're already a part of God.
Right.
That our identity is already there. To claim it, to say, yes, that is me, is a powerful step in our own healing. And she gives us a couple definitions of healing. It means to make whole. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
When you injure yourself, like a broken arm, or you said,
Right.
it's almost healing is almost
whole.
always there's a separation aspect to being broken or getting cut or being injured. There's always a breaking of something, a separation. Healing is this bringing into the whole, is the idea of wholeness. It's the method to wholeness. It unites with those that are like us. So find your mighty companions. Who's traveling with you? Who wants to see the world the way you see it?
Awakening together does.
Right,
This is
I know.
Mighty
This
companions.
is really incredibly. So
Yeah.
she ends this thing with saying, if you recognize your own healing, you recognize yourself in the world, you recognize me, you recognize God.
Right.
And she says, my reality is yours and his. So God lives as God in us.
Right.
and all that is living. My reality is yours and his. There is no my reality and your reality and her reality and their reality. And there's only reality. There's only what is true.
Yeah.
So what is true for me is true for you. What is true is true. My reality and yours are the same. Read the next bit.
All right. I offer you only the recognition of his power in you, but in that lies all truth. As we unite with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I offer you only the recognition of his
power in you. Yeah. Okay.
I see you as whole. I see us as whole and powerful and strong and capable, you know?
Right.
And in that lies all truth.
Right.
When we unite with what is real.
God,
This is called the restoration of power. The restoration of your power is where all the truth lies, the truth that we're seeking. This is about shared power. God has everything because she gives it all away. This is
all,
give all to all.
Yeah.
This is a sharing. This is horizontal power. This is shared power. This is the recognition that power lies in everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone, we need to support everyone's power to express their own authentic true nature, their self-expression. This is called restored glory. She uses the word restoring your glory. If you can remember who you are and identify correctly with God and see yourself in others, you will be restored to glory and be able to share, and people will share their power with you, share the power with you. And this is a miracle. The miracle means that God's will is happening. It bears witness to the truth. It bears witness to what is possible. A miracle bears witness to what is possible. Miracles stop looking so strange when you join the oneness, when you have a fused mind. And there is the real joy in this uniting. There's this real joy in healing because we're doing it together, because we're doing this sharing, this giving, this restoration of glory. We are united. We have a fused mind, uniting, healing. It's just all of this we're doing together. We have to get it through our heads. This identity that we seek, this truth that we seek, is a plurality, not a singularity. And this singularity is a plurality, and the plurality is a singularity. It's the paradigm. It's the paradigm of us living in and of ourselves, and of and as God. So
lovely. Okay.
Read the next bit.
I will, but I want to go back to the other screen for a second because I'm thinking here of how this identity, how we get caught up in bodily identities, right?
Appearances.
So, but also just, and I'm gonna, say for myself, from my perspective, like, gender identity and all of these identities that we find important in our physical life, and they are important, I think. However, to move beyond that and to know that you are more than that, and as what I'm feeling right now, that the unity of all of us together, like that is the identity that is the freedom.
Yes.
That's where the freedom comes for me.
Power and freedom, a fused mind, joining with what is true. We see and act like we're one. It isn't just that we know it. It's that we're acting like it. That's the path. That's the journey. That's getting onto the path. After you can maybe get the concept down, we have to begin to walk the path. And when we begin to walk the path, we find people on the path. We're not alone and friendless. We're like, oh my God, right?
There's a lot of us.
Where we were slaving away at this lonely identity. This very, very lonely identity of doing it ourselves and paying dues and making it happen and enforcing it. Speaking for myself. We turn around and we say, oh, there's a handout. We get on the path and there's somebody to help us along when we falter. Yeah, I believe that. I truly, truly, truly believe that.
All right.
Read the...
Okay. When you unite with me, God, when you unite with God, you are uniting without the ego. I think that's the point that I was trying to express. Our success in transcending the ego is guaranteed by God.
I know, how about that?
I love that. Nothing can prevail against our united wills because nothing can prevail against God's will.
Right.
Yeah.
Our united will. So we are transcending.
We are.
Our success in transcending the ego
is guaranteed.
is guaranteed.
I love that.
Uniting. So this is the idea again of uniting with our right mind. When I unite with my right mind, I don't unite with your ego or my ego. I renounce. She calls this renouncing the ego. I renounce you in the name of what is true. Ego.
Good. That's good. That's
Oh
good.
no. And success. Would you try it if success was guaranteed? Be confident, she says. My will transcend this animal mind of yours, this ego, this getting in competition and survival part of us that's sort of necessary. We will transcend this mind ego, not destroy it or anything, but transcend it. And nothing can prevail against that if we choose that as our identity. If we can unchoose the ego, if we can unchoose the performance, if we can unchoose that lonely person inside that has to do it all themselves and join in what is real, get on the path and accept some help, then we'll be good. Read the next bit.
Well, when I say that reminds me of opportunity
finds me. I create what I need.
I'm open to suggestions. I accept success. I love that. Okay. Would you know the will of God for you? Ta-da!
Yeah.
You will find it. I will deny you nothing. The journey back to God is our home. On this journey, you have chosen me as your companion instead of the ego.
Right. So you're choosing your companions, making an active choice about who you're going to hang out with, what are you going to read, what do you want to be true, what comes out of our mouths. On this journey, you have chosen me, your right mind, as a companion instead of the ego.
Yeah.
So
now that's nice, because what it says to me is that, certainly choice involved. I mean, but the truth is we're already united, all of us, whether we choose...
We're just not having that experience.
Yeah, whether we choose this experience or not. So on this journey, you have chosen me. When we make the choice, we have chosen God as the companion instead of the ego. And that's so brilliant to me, to get to that place where we can understand.
Well, you can see the ego.
Where you can see the ego.
Just like so we give way too much power to the ego.
Exactly.
To frighten us and determine what our identity is.
Right.
This is the journey back to God. And she just goes, if you want to know the journey back to God, ask somebody who knows it. Your right mind. Maybe somebody this farther along the path than you are, right? Or that we are. You take the wisdom of elders. It's like one of the Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth is like one of the. Now I'm going to not remember the Four Noble Truths, but one of them is honor the truth.
Honor the truth.
Yeah, fall in love with the truth. So nothing will be denied us if we will do what is ours to do. There's nothing to be denied. There's no denial. That's the little animal mind that says we can't have. And in order to get something, we have to give up something. That's called incarceral salvation. And it's Stone Age theology. Nothing can be denied you if you will do what is yours to do. This is the road to peace. So she asks us to choose wisely, to choose what you want. Either choose fear, and when we choose fear, just realize that on the journey, the ego has stowed away. It's like it's a little stowaway. It climbed back up, journey. Right?
Okay.
And so, or if we choose invulnerability, right? Fear and invulnerability is the way she couches this. The ego feels rejected and it feels vengeful, but not making a choice isn't an option, because not making a choice means you're going to get lost. So even if we have to make the choice 100 times to let go of the ego, it's like, oh, I'm doing it again, or this isn't the world I want to live in. I don't want to be an angry, person. I don't want to be, I want to learn who I am. I'm interested in authentic self-expression. Who is this? Who am I? What is going on here? Those are really good questions. If we don't ask those questions, we lose our way. When we begin to ask those questions, help arrives, and we realize that we were frightening ourselves by trying to create a false identity to please other people or to fit in when we didn't really ever have to. And so we feel rejected and vengeful when it doesn't work out. Well, we weren't being ourselves. We were we were not accepting the power of a fused mind, in which we fuse, we join with what is true, we join with what we want. Get on the love train, right? A friend of mine says it. Why don't you read the last bit and we'll
get on board, join in, get on the love train, love train. All right, here's the last paragraph. The Holy Spirit has one direction for all minds.
One direction.
One direction. And the one he taught me is yours. Wait a second, let me read that again. The Holy Spirit has one direction for all minds, and the one he taught me is yours. Okay. Never accord the ego the power to interfere with the journey. It has none, because the journey is the way to what is true. Reach, therefore, for my hand, because you want to transcend the ego.
There it is. Transcend the ego again.
I give it willingly and gladly because I need you as much as you need me.
How about that? I really love that idea. That Jesus, or this Jesus character, needing me as much as I need the teacher.
Yeah.
There is no wholeness if there's anybody missing.
Yeah.
If there's there's no fat cat that's left behind. There's no birds and bees and apples and trees. There's nothing that is left out. All of it is one fused mind, and we can live from this fused mind, be on the path with this fused mind that offers us power to be ourselves. Power to claim an identity as the child of God.
Sana, the fused mind is the only case where a codependent relationship is actually a good thing.
I didn't really think about it. That sounds like codependency, doesn't it? Oh, a fused mind. Because, but the idea of the one mind being your right mind, being in the or the upper mind, as sometimes the Course calls it. So,
yeah, she says, she uses these odd words. For me, that phrase "fused mind" is a little odd. However, I do understand where we're going with that. And I love that. I love it. It took me a while to get used to that phrase "fused mind," but as I think about it more. Right, because you say Jesus needs me as much as I need him. Yeah. The thing that I was thinking about is it's so cool that we are all together in this fused mind because we can't be unfused. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't,
so we're that connected.
Yeah, you can't take me out of God or anybody else.
Or, our family, our relationships with each other. We are that. When we realize that,
even the people
we are that close,
like in the circle of love meditation, even the things that we don't like are a part. We cannot take them out.
They're
or
part
God,
of this
or
fused
God doesn't.
mind.
There's no God when you take it. If you take something out,
right.
So, what would our identities be if all of living and being was possible? Any way of being was possible. Who would you be if you were really in charge of choosing to align yourself with the one true identity as the powerful child of God and the inheritor of reality?
Wow. I'll take that identity.
That's our identity.
Yeah.
But it's not the way the ego thinks of it. We can't have that identity if we exclude anybody from our right mind.
And that's what science is calling infinite mystery.
Infinite mystery.
Which is
beautiful.
true.
That's
That
a lot.
is beautiful.
That's what she likes to call
I
it.
like to say sacred mystery. So
Yeah.
it's this similar expression. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a mystery. Like, how can all of these things that...
Like, why is there living?
Why is there living?
Yeah, why is there life at all?
Oh, yeah.
How in the world?
That's
I mean, why
a good one.
Why plants? Why animals? Why us?
Yeah.
How? What's Because like the Buddhists say, every being, every life is an auspicious occasion.
Oh. Where's my kitty? Where's my kitty?
The fat girl's probably asleep in the other room.
My fat kitty.
We have a chonky cat.
She's an auspicious occasion, too.
Well, she's definitely a learning device, as Jacqueline was saying. That cat is somebody that I learned from.
Absolutely.
She's continually a teacher for me.
She most certainly
But
is. Cheers. Who are you?
Here's
you?
a reminder that you're listening to Church with a 2-Drink Minimum, and I am Reverend Glen Morton-Ganower, your favorite anarchist preacher.
Yes, you are. And I happen to be Reverend Yolanda sitting here with y'all. And I want to share another song with you that I think...
Tell them about it.
We'll go... Okay. So, this song is called Shining in the Sun. And I wrote it when I was in a very, very dark place. And I could not see the way out of that place. And then, this was at the beginning of sort of my spiritual,
maturity?
Maturity. My conscious choice.
Your choice to get on the path.
To get on the path, yeah. And then,
the journey.
When I did make that choice, all of these wonderful folks appeared in my life to help me resolve the issues that I was going through. But right before I made that choice, it was not... I couldn't see. I couldn't see at all.
Would you call that hitting bottom?
Yes, indeed. Indeed I would.
Yeah.
So let me share this.
Real often we have to hit bottom. We have to figure out that the identity that we thought we had it not only doesn't work, it's so false that we can't even hang on to it. We would rather, drop it and create something new than go one more minute with this false identity.
Yeah, that was truly a turning point for me. But let's play it because we're getting close to the end of our time together. So...
No one knows me better than I know myself. Waking up in the morning, sometimes I feel like I've got nothing left to give. No more worrying about tomorrow. It will take care of itself. I ain't got time to wallow in my sorrow. Not good for me, or you, or nobody else. 'Cause I'm shining in the sun, making room for everyone. No one could feel any better than the way I feel this morning. Give me an inch, I'll take a mile. Give me your heart and I'll make you smile. 'Cause I'm shining in the sun, making room for everyone. Yes, I'm shining in the sun. room for everyone. I've had raging storms in my life, and everything I had, it burnt up in that fire. I didn't think that I could start all over again, but I did it with the help of my loving friends. And I'm shining in the sun, making room for everyone. Yes, I'm shining in the sun, making room for everyone. Woo! Yeah! Shining, yes, I'm shining, shining in the sun, shining, yes, I'm shining, shining in the sun, shining, yes, I'm shining, because I'm shining in the sun, shining, yes, I'm shining, because I'm shining in the sun, shining, yes, I'm shining, shining in the sun, oh yeah, yes, I'm shining, oh yeah, shining in the sun, oh yeah.
Wow.